Switch OLED. You already know that you're gonna buy it. You're gonna buy it, right?
Yo, did you hear about the new Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, dude. That's gotta be one of the best things Nintendo had to make this year. I can't wait to play all my favorite games on the go with more beefy hardware.
Doesn't it only give you more storage and an Ethernet port instead of running those games on 60 frames?
Who the fuck cares? It's Nintendo. They wouldn't wrong their customers from the start. Why do you think they've been in a company for so long?
I just want to play Smash with rollback netcode.
Fuck you. Do you know how hard it is for them to do something like that? Do you know how much time and effort goes into their work? You little shit. This is what you have already.
Dad? Hello, son. I've come to bring 2 special offers, both Valve and Nickelodeon, both of which I am CEO from an alternate universe. Whoa. Steam on the go? And what is that? It's like Smash, but it's for gamers. And has rollback netcode. I always wanted something like this. Hey Nelson, look at this.
Oh my god!
What happened to him? He is impure, child, for he does not know that there are more quality options rather than Nintendo. What does that mean? It means it is only a matter of time that competition will rise, leaving Nintendo and its posse back in the dust. By the way, I have to knock you out, I'm sorry. Wait, what? I spilled too many company secrets. Yeah, no, I really don't like Nintendo fans. What? I don't even know why there are some people who are still willing to defend Nintendo after all the history that they have done. Like, I've never seen a company that basically has so much wrongdoing, but still, like, supporting them nevertheless. I have covered someone just like that before.
You champion!
So an entire company, on the other hand, that's a bit of an interesting topic that I'm going to dwell into.
Oh, but cool. This is a company that his main audience is children.
We are not dealing with kids. Do children know the concept of online subscriptions? Do children try to hold up katanas in their Twitter banner while wearing the N64 shirt? Do children even know what an N64 is? No, we are not dealing with children. We are dealing with man-childs. Oh my god. The reason why I decided to even bother making this video was because I actually did find that said Nintendo fan that made Nintendo cut out to being one of the best companies. Zariwari. That's the name you're going by now, huh? I gotta say, man makes some pretty good stuff. Personally, I do love the mashups he's made both in the past and in the present. But as everything that I must like, I have to torch it within the flames of love. Now, of course,
You shut the
Of course, I'm gonna go over their side of the argument, and then I'm gonna go over my side of the argument. So the first thing that you'll know about the tweet is kind of simple. If any of your friends ever complain about Nintendo again, just show them this tweet. Enough said. Nintendo never listens to their fans and only cares about money. Only $20 a year with free games, which is kind of bull.
Shut the fuck.
Re-releases of highly demanded Nintendo classics. Added multiplayer with friends after fans complained on Twitter constantly. They let you send in your drifting Joy-Cons to repair for literally $0. Tons of free DLC they could have justified charging money for. And finally, Banjo and Smash Brothers. So I decided to respond to this tweet with a counter argument.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Not only do you have to pay $20 a year, but other competitors have better online solutions. Now, the main reason behind this is because the service that Nintendo had was free before when the Nintendo Switch came out. Of course, they did say that they were going to charge later on. It still made sense for them to iron out the online features just so that people would probably buy it hoping that it'd be worth more than something. And just a reminder, one of the best games out there is Super Smash Bros. Not only for the inclusion of all other Nintendo characters, but a huge emphasis on third-party characters as well within the Nintendo franchise. What's scummy about this is that not only were the online features never really ironed out, but the paywall was pushed out nearing the time that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate would make its release date, meaning that no one had free service to play the game online. Oh yeah, and everybody already knows, online it's terrible. You can't justify this being a good gaming experience. And although people could say the online for different games is handled differently, like I'll be honest, I think it's easy enough to make an online feature for Pokemon. But if it's something like a fighting game where all movement really does matter, it really does show how bad the online can actually be for a service like this. When it involves the free games sort of thing that they had to say that comes with the online, if people just wanted the games and not the online features, you can't really do that. And I even found this image on Twitter as well, where, even though that Nintendo keeps selling their games for full price, the re-releases, you just have Microsoft on the bottom that just sells you basically 200 games for $1. It's a membership, yes, but just $1 for 200 games is already kind of sticking it to Nintendo to some extent. Most re-releases are only for a limited time, meaning they're easily scalped. Now, of course, I mostly am wrong because there are some re-releases that have came out that will stay forever, like recently Skyward Sword HD. But the images of the games that they've used was both Mario 3D All-Star and the classic Fire Emblem series, which doesn't make any sense to me because if Mario is the headline character for Nintendo, then why is his game supposed to be limited time? Heck, it was even an anniversary special that they were doing this. So you're telling me that it's better off to basically sell 3 games in one as a limited time offer. Oh yeah, and if people actually do care about Fire Emblem to begin with, why didn't they even bother putting this part of their online subscription with the free games like you've said? Because if they have an NES library, then it would make sense to put an NES game like this into the library. What really does suck is that if you try playing Mario 3D All-Star, it's supposed to be giving you a patched version of Mario 64.
Come on, dude. Did Nintendo patch this or something?
You cannot tell me if you're selling me Mario 64 if I cannot backwards long jump my way into Bowser's door with only 16 stars. I will be very mad. The addition of multiplayer to other games is supposed to incentivize others to pay for a yearly subscription. See, recently they've been adding more multiplayer options to their older games, like their Mario Party game on Switch. That's the only example I could really think of. But even then, if there is a list of games that they have added that I haven't really seen or bothered to look up, then either way, it's more likely that people are going to buy the online feature just so they're able to play this with their friends. And even if you do say that you don't have to pay for a yearly subscription, most people actually do bother to pay for a yearly subscription just so they wouldn't have to worry about renewing it in a year. The controllers shouldn't drift in the first place, and most people don't even know about sending it for free repairs.
My Joy-Con is a drifty.
Now, this is the one that I have to say is absolute donkey water. Because every game company always has to make a controller that's able to last, or at the very least, last long enough until a next generation of consoles. And even if it doesn't last that long, let's say periodically maybe 4 to 6 years, 2 years is good enough for a controller. But guess what? Day one smash, everyone smashed their fucking controllers. Oh my god, everyone was reporting about the drifting problem when that happened. It's not even a joke. That was the main reason why these lawsuits came into place. Oh yeah, and one thing to note that I've actually seen on one of the comments and on the Twitter post that I made. This guy right here states that if you want to send your controllers for repairs, it only counts in countries that filed the lawsuit to begin with. And they still defend this. Oh yeah, and then he responded with, "This post reeks of America." You got a problem? You got a problem, buddy? You got a little problem going on?
Get him out of here! Get him the hell out of here!
Most of the free DLC made was supposed to be within the base game, but was cut so that people would come back and play the games later. Now, that one I was wrong about, because it's for a completely different reason. Because recently, it's kind of obvious that Nintendo likes to do a thing where they sell you mediocre games and then add in free DLC later just so that the game would feel like it was how much you actually paid for full price for. This has happened for a lot of Nintendo games, but the main ones I could definitely say. Good examples could easily be Pokemon Sword and Shield. Obviously, we hated the fact that they didn't have all the Pokemon in the Pokédex, which sucked. And even if we didn't care much about the Pokédex, we at least wanted the Pokemon in the game. Like, nobody cared about the Pokédex up to this point. We just wanted their little models in the game so we could use them in some form of I don't play Pokemon competitively. I just want my funny little boy Ambipom again. It's no longer funny. But the one thing that doesn't make any sense to me is that they could have easily added in all Generation 1 Pokemon because they worked on Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. Now, to be fair, they at least made it so that you can at least gain the Pokemon even without the DLC, but they still kind of charged $90 in total. Oh yeah, and if you wanted to add in the online features, that'd be an extra $20. 110 for your yearly subscriptions. I highly doubt that people bought the 1 or 3 month subscription. I highly doubt it, because most people just buy the yearly subscription. Oh yeah, and other people seem to agree with me when it involves this. One guy says that he just wants to play the game the first month or two when he gets it and not wait to replay it after half a year when they release the rest of the game and it's missing content.
That is equivocally what I was saying!
Yeah, okay, dude, but Banjo's in Smash Brothers.
Then nobody cares about it anymore. Same with Ridley. I haven't seen anyone use those two in Smash anymore in a while.
Which is actually kind of sad, because these were two highly requested characters before the game ever did launch. And then I responded, I can't wait for the last DLC character to be Crash, just so that these people would say,
Yeah, but Crash is in the game.
Just to see people online still playing as Byleth or Min Min. You know, the two characters people hated in any Smash DLC. Maybe Bayo, but that's Smash 4.
This is gay.
They even told you ahead of time there would be an ARMS character. And even then, Byleth still has more likes than Min Min.
Get fucked.
Oh yeah, and finally, one more thing. Nintendo is the only company that not only despises competitive gaming, but I've actually made a grammar error here, I'll fix it. But they also despise non-profit fan games that some people spent hundreds of hours making. There are people out there that have wanted to impress Nintendo just to show them their skills. You know that one where it's like, Nintendo, hire this man? Well, guess what? Nintendo is not hiring this man. Nintendo is fucking filing a class action lawsuit for using their IPs. You know little Pedro over there when he was making his little cardboard Mario game? Yeah, my man Reggie came from the depths of Nintendo after retirement just to give this man a cease and desist. That's actually over exaggerated, but that's the point. Nintendo has a history on hating the Melee community,
or any kind of competitive community, in fact, to talk about it, this has to be as early at around maybe 2006 to 2008. Everybody knows about MLG, and MLG had their own little thing that involved competitive melee. It was nice. But MLG was getting a couple of cease and desists from Nintendo, meaning that they weren't allowed to stream any of their tournaments. The main reason why this was mostly put into place was actually the new installment of the Smash Bros. Series, and that was in fact Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Things like Project M were great for the competitive Smash community, but in order for them to play the newer titles in competitive games while also being tied with Nintendo, they had to abandon Project M completely. And because of that, well, I think most people know the story that Project M is just dead. Just dead. Oh yeah, and the more recent thing that happened with the big house, when everything was going down in the dirt, everybody could not go outside, they couldn't practice, the sweaty Smash players actually had to keep taking showers, they couldn't go out, play their favorite games in their sweaty lobbies or whatever in real life. So instead they had to resort to a different one, and that was online connections. So a Smash mod for online play for Melee was made. It was called Slippy, and Nintendo did not like this being used, that they were modifying their game without permission. So because of this, they closed down competitive Melee from the big house. So instead, what do you think happened? The Splatoon competitive scene decided to stand with Melee. And what happened? I think everyone knows what happened. I don't have to say anything else. I am scratching my ballsack right now just because of how correct I am. But besides that, there's even other things that Nintendo has done in the past that's even more damning than this. There was no such thing as a Nintendo YouTuber back then. Why? Because it had to have been a partnership program with Nintendo. I really hate this! What does that mean? It means not only are you splitting 50-50 of your profits with YouTube, you're splitting a bit of your own profits with Nintendo as well. Which meant you were not making much off of YouTube if you were making Nintendo content if you actually did get permission from Nintendo themselves. Oh yeah, and if you did post Nintendo content, your videos would have been claimed by Nintendo, losing all the profit that you would have made in that video. It was only within 2018 that Nintendo said, okay, fine, we'll drop the partnership program, do what you want. We want free advertising now, which that's what every game company did before, but Nintendo did not do this. So why am I bringing this in any form, like any light? Well, it's simple. I don't understand why people have to justify Nintendo's actions, or at the very least, over-exaggerate the good, leave out the bad that they have done. See, listen, I'm no fan. I don't take sides on gaming consoles, alright? I ain't no console player. I may be PC, but if there's something I gotta say, it's simply this. Xbox, PlayStation players, YouTube, you got one of the best companies, admittedly. Sony may be a little bit off, at least in my opinion, but it's definitely leagues ahead of Nintendo. Oh yeah, and nobody wants to talk about how a lot of music was being removed from YouTube that was supposed to be from Nintendo games. A lot of people use Nintendo OST in a lot of their videos. So having to see a huge mass of deletion of those videos just because Nintendo was claiming it kind of rubs people the wrong way. Because you know about music copyright. It's one of the most protected forms of media on YouTube. So imagine all the videos that use Nintendo music as background noise. It's a lot, actually. Like, even I am afraid of using music from Nintendo as well, because I'm also afraid that something like this is going to happen. And listen, I'll say this right now, that it's perfectly fine to keep buying Nintendo products, because no matter what, some people still enjoy the games despite the shady business practices. The same thing could be said about EA, but that's a different story. That's different. Listen, if you had enjoyment playing Nintendo games, then okay. I'm not gonna tell you you're not allowed to have fun. Back in my day, I loved playing Nintendo games. I was fully pulled in while I was first playing Pokemon. The game that usually just kept me still playing Nintendo games had to have been Smash Brothers out of all things. And it wasn't just because of Nintendo anymore, it was mostly because of third parties. And when it involved everything being on the Switch now, it kind of did feel like the old days of Nintendo, where every third-party company would be by Nintendo's side and still publish games on their consoles, just like the old days. It's nice. I'm not saying you're not allowed to enjoy the products they sell you. All I am saying is that Nintendo is not the best when it involves catering to their own community.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
The problem is that they understand what types of people are willing to back them. As long as they keep giving you the next Smash DLC character, everyone's gonna go hype about it, or at the very least, it'll quell down some hate. The best video I could really say that talks well enough about Nintendo and its obsessive fans has to be the recent video made by EmpLemon. I don't know how to say that. But besides that, Nintendo makes amazing games. There's no doubt about that. Their partnerships as well with other third parties is great as well. And it shows within the recent years, including Smash Ultimate. I keep using that as an example, but then again, I'm pretty sure most people who buy a Switch probably were expecting this game. But if you have to defend what is necessarily something that other game companies have done better,
I don't trust like that.
Nickelodeon just announced a new game that involves their own IPs duking it out like Smash. Not only is it being developed by people who were the developers of Slap City, it's also said to have rollback netcode. And Steam making a portable console of their own should be concerning for Nintendo, because now there is threat of competition. It's only a matter of time before other companies capitalize on Nintendo's success, leaving Nintendo back in the dark ages of the GameCube and Wii U. Even I'll admit that Nintendo was a huge part of my childhood. It still is part of my life a little bit to this day, but now I'm more mature, I see things how they are. Nintendo isn't really much of a company that cares about you anymore, or at the very least, it shows that they don't care much about their customers anymore. Only whatever they put out there sells. If a game has trouble selling, add multiplayer features. If they're not confident enough that a game will sell, add in a limited time to actually purchase these games. There's plenty of things that I haven't talked about in this video, and there's still more, like how Nintendo's retro library keeps growing smaller and smaller within each new console generation. But this is something that I'd say isn't much that I care about. The only time I really would care about it is if Nintendo themselves keep getting rid of ROM websites that keep housing their games just because they don't sell an alternative option to buying these older titles. Oh wait, no, never mind, they do. Never mind,
Don't you feel a little ashamed?
You know, besides making this dumb little video on going on a rant, I at least want to say one thing, that I am happy to make videos like this. Even if I have to put in the extra effort, I'm still at least happy to do it. And if you want to support the channel, be my guest. Like and subscribe, it really does help me. But besides that, I'm gonna go and smash Ultimate and play some Kazuya, because he's cool and new. This is not Smash Ultimate. I am playing Tekken 7. I have fooled you. Get out. Get the